Oh my God, guys, did you know that the United States Air Force just shot down another unidentified flying object? Oh my God, now that makes 4 shoot downs in 8 days over the U.S. airspace, unprecedented in history, a top general says. Oh my God, we just need to go ahead and, we just need to be so scared that the aliens are just going to be coming down at any given time. Chinese spy balloon program connected to military targeted U.S. and allies. And yeah, if they were going on during the Trump administration, but they couldn't detect any of the abnormalities out in the sky, and that couldn't happen until Biden came in, and oh my God, the sky is falling, and nobody pay attention to anything terrible that's actually happened, especially over in Ohio, because bro, what the, whew, it's a big old disaster, a cancerous disaster, and I wish I was exaggerating, because this right here, this is the real story, and this is what they're not talking about. So all of those classic, oh, pay attention to the big shiny thing that's over here, oh, see, you like aliens, ooh, aliens, bro. After all this skepticism, after 3 years of outright lying to the public, why would you believe the government right now that there are unidentified flying objects that are around? That the government has your best interest at heart? You would literally have to be exhibiting signs of Stockholm syndrome if you are to believe them now at this point in time. Pay attention to what is actually going to be the long-term issue. Because, well, or rather, while Pete Buttigieg doesn't want to talk about it, well, you know, hey man, we might as well seek some clarification on this. So it's a 50-car train derailment. There was also another derailment that happened yesterday as well. Like, this happened a couple of days ago, but I needed to find a way in order to fit it in. So sorry for being late. Better late than never, right? Anyways, but no, there was one that happened in Houston, but that was caused by an accident. And given how many trains run every single day, the fact that 2 happened in close proximity to one another, again, I don't really want to ascribe any conspiracy theories to anything that can be explained by just sheer ignorance. I don't know what specifically happened this derailment, but the Houston one was caused by a vehicle accident, and just I think one person is dead. But this one up here in East Palestine, Ohio, which, did you know that there was an East Palestine, and especially in Ohio? I had no idea. Instead of free Palestine, it's clean Palestine. Train derailment and resulting large fire prompted an evacuation order in the Ohio village near Pennsylvania state line on Friday night. Oh, this happened on Friday? I legitimately didn't hear about this until maybe Sunday? Maybe Sunday. Covering the area in billows of smoke lit orange by the flames below. About 50 cars derailed in East Palestine as the train was carrying a variety of freight from Madison, Illinois to Conway, Pennsylvania. Rail operator Norfolk Southern said in the statement Saturday. There was no immediate information about what caused the derailment. No injuries were reported. Interesting. Local officials noted residents that an evacuation order remained in place Saturday morning from people within a mile of the scene. Holy! A high school and community center were opened to shelter dozens of people, while residents beyond the radius were urged to stay inside. Mayor Trent Conaway told reporters that firefighters from 3 states responded to the location of the derailment about 51 miles northwest of Pittsburgh and within 20 miles of the tip of West Virginia's northern panhandle. Freezing temperatures and single-digit complicated the response as trucks pumping water froze. Oh, Lord have mercy. So ultimately, who's in charge of the railway system? Well, that would be the Secretary of Transportation. Oh, the Secretary of Transportation, who also took paternity leave during the big supply chain crisis just about this time last year. So you think that he would be working overtime in order to avoid another PR disaster, but no, you can see the headline. Buttigieg makes no mention of cancer-causing chemical release from fiery Ohio train derailment. Yo, man. But he's gay, though, so you can't criticize the terrible job that he's done. A report of strange objects in the sky dominate the headlines. Bro. The Chinese weather balloon and the junk that was shot down off the northern tip of Alaska, Yukon territories, and what's this other nonsense? That's an octagonal object of the Great Lakes region. Yeah, bro, who cares, man? You know what actually cares? Or you know what actually matters? There's going to be cancer-causing chemicals in the ground for generations, leaching into the soil and rendering who knows how much land absolutely useless. Vinyl chloride and other chemicals released following a February 3rd train derailment in East Palestine, Ohio, near the Pennsylvania border, has recently comparatively little publicity, including from some relevant federal authorities. Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg didn't comment on the incident during the February 13th morning appearance at the National Association of Counties Legislative Conference in Washington. Where was the press to press him on that? Just wondering. It doesn't really much matter. The adults are back in the room. Though he did mention the safety risk of balloons to a laughter from the audience. Bro, there are people that are just going to have lumps on their necks over the next 50 years, and you want to talk about that, obvious false flag event that was just Chinese spy balloon? Bruh. The Department of Transportation website doesn't have any press releases focused on the derailment yet. Neither does the website for the DOT's Federal Railway Administration, while the FRA is also concurrently investigating the accident under our authority. Questions about the accident should be addressed to the National Transportation Safety Board. A spokesperson for the Railway Administration told the Epoch Times on February 13th by email, individuals drawing conclusions about causes and effects of the accident are speculative and should not be treated as fact until final reports are issued. Great, wait for the government, because we know that the government doesn't lie to you about this stuff. We know what's out there. Okay, so that vinyl chloride, that's been blown up. Okay, it's right on the Pennsylvania border, not too far from West Virginia as well. What major waterways should be of concern when it comes to the release of these toxins? I'm just wondering, man, is this going to get into the water? Is there going to be problems into the future? What is going to happen with this small little township? Ohio Governor Mike DeWine and Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro ordered on February 6th the evacuation of 2-mile by 1-mile zones spanning the state line. The statement from DeWine cited the presence of vinyl chloride in 5 boxcars, announcing that the possibility of a devastating explosion would be mitigated through the controlled release later that day. And there you can see a picture of it, and actually there are other images from altitude, probably from a Bulgarian spy balloon, well, something like that, where it just kind of looked like a damn bomb went off. Statement said that the residents who stayed near the controlled release risked a grave danger of death. But once we burn it off, don't worry about any of that stuff. Bro, come on now. After the vinyl chloride release, DeWine and other officials said on February 8th, the residents near the incident could return to their homes. Oh, thank God. We have so much cleaning to do. Residents of nearby communities have reported that animals on their properties have been sickened or even died, raising concerns about the risk of livestock and humans. Yeah, it's probably a big farming area. I'm just wondering, man. And then with the amount of industrial chicken farms that are going up in flames lately, supply chain shortages, it's just what a time to be a conspiracy theorist. I'll just say that much. Amanda Brashears, of North Lima, Ohio, told ABC 27 the video footage shows her chickens dying following the release. Great. If it can't do that, or if it can do this to chickens in one night, imagine what it can do to us in 20 years. Yep. The Environmental Protection Agency issued an update report in the incident on February 12th. Air monitoring since the fire went out has not detected any levels of concern in the community that can be attributed to this incident at this time. Oh, that's great, because the last time that I heard about, don't worry about anything that's in the air. You can't, if you take this one thing, you won't be able to transmit this anymore, because I believe the government 100%. But what else does the EPA say? Well, there's a list of other toxic chemicals on tankers in the Ohio derailment. So don't worry about the vinyl chloride. There's other stuff to worry about as well. February 10th letter from the EPA to Norfolk Southern notes multiple rail cars and tankers were observed derailed, breach, and or on fire. Coverage of the incident mainly stressed the presence of vinyl chloride, a chemical used to make PVC pipes and other products. The National Cancer Institute notes that vinyl chloride has been linked to particular cancers, specifically of brain, lungs, blood, lymphatic system, and in particular the liver. Oh, great. All of those are terrible. I don't really think that there's a good form of cancer. Maybe like an early detection of like skin cancer, but outside of that, man. Specifically, it notes the presence of ethanol glycol monobutyrol ether, ethyl hexyl acrylate, isobutylane, and butyl accelerate. All right, then. I'm not even going to pretend to know or just feign knowledge and what those are good for. The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration online chemical database notes the chemical solvent ethylene glycol monobutyl or ether can cause serious or permanent injury. Great, cool. So you got cancer, and then you just got something that'll just really knock you out super quick. Ingestion or skin contact can cause headache, nausea, vomiting, dizziness, the website states, reading the chemical, which is found in many household products. Oh, great. Those are just normally the tastiest. Same chemical database notes that 2-ethylhexate or hexyl acrylate, which is used in many paints and plastics for things like contact lenses, can cause significant irritation and may be explosive at high temperatures. It states that isobutylene, a liquefied gas used to make aviation fuel, can incapacitate and, in some circumstances, asphyxiate those exposed to it. Butyl acrylate, meanwhile, is described in the database as potentially a source of serious or permanent injury and a relatively unstable substance. Oh, goody! Okay, so if it's a relatively unstable substance, why is it being transported by train? I don't really know about that. That's interesting. The Epoch Times has asked the EPA for more detail on potential environmental and human health risks posed by chemical involved in the derailment. But we don't need to talk about that, man. Hey, didn't you know we got historic shoot downs 4 in 8 days, man? Don't worry about all the chemicals that are going to be in your water that are eventually going to turn your kids gay. But with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.